Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's about 6:30, somewhere around that, on Saturday, the 30th of May. This is garden tour week 5, I do believe. I'm having a lot of trouble making sure I push the record button. Apparently, I've started the first tour, and then my cousin came in and he was staring at me, and it made me feel self-conscious, so I stopped it. And then I started another one, and the neighbor started mowing, and it got really loud, and I don't know if I pushed a button or what I did. So then I got done with the whole garden tour, and I went to say goodbye and realized that it wasn't even running. And so, so I've got to redo it all again. So now I'm going to feel like I'm repeating myself over and over and over again. This is the first time you've seen it. So welcome to Home Sweet Gardens. My name is Amy, where I'm clearly not as good at doing this as a lot of people are. So I'm sitting in this chair today because I sat in the other one last week and I broke it. I've had these chairs for 6-7 years, something like that. My husband bought them for me for a gift, and I blew the ass right out of the chair, I guess. So he says that it's not going to be hard to replace them. The fabric, not the chairs. I think we should just replace the chair. I think it's going to be a colossal pain to have to even try to do it, but oh no, he wants to redo it. So yeah, we'll see how that works. So I have got a few things that I have done here. I was going to get it all cleaned up and pretty, and then I thought, you know what? Whose gardens are always done perfect except for people in the movies or, I don't know, shooting videos? But if you're like me, you've always got something that you're working on, something you're changing, something you're trying to make better, something you don't like, something either dies or doesn't go in the way you want it to because the garden is full of life and we can't control that. So it is like you would see it every single day if you were to come to my house. I didn't dress it up. I didn't pretty it up. I didn't put a bunch of stuff away. I mean, I put stuff away, but I didn't hide the unsightlies. So here we go. Let's go for the first time for you, the third time for myself. Okay, so let's start with the greenhouse. Water has gotten in it so much. We've got about 2¼ inches of rain in one day. So you can see how it's gotten green through there and it's just washed all the way through. I need to get back there and pull the weeds that are growing on the inside. The carpet is awesome, but it doesn't stop it from growing in the corners. I mean, obviously, weeds are going to find their way into everything and on the planet. So I have started some habaneras. They're supposed to be a habanero pepper without the heat. I don't know if there's even any water in this thing. But there we go, a little bit. Peppers always take a long time to germinate. For me anyway, it seems like just when I think they're not going to do anything, they do. So I've just been keeping it moist, leaving it in the greenhouse. Hopefully they'll start. But see, I only started on May 20th, so I'm a little bit impatient sometimes. This is cinnamon basil. I topped my other plant and stuck those in here and with a little bit of rooting powder, and hopefully they'll start more plants. This is a clematis that I did the same thing with. I don't know if it's doing anything. I don't want to take it out of the soil for fear that I'll damage it. I do know that I am growing a mushroom in there. You see that? But that came from the soil. It's kind of weird. I don't want to touch it because my luck it'd be poisonous. This is a rose, one of my rose bushes that I cut a piece off. And if you look right, see if I can get it to focus. Come on, buddy, focus for me. Here, let me set it down. I don't want to dump it. Okay, right there by my finger. Do you see that? Yep, there we go. That is new growth. So the germination is a success so far. That one. Then there's another one over here that looks like a stick, but I don't know. Again, I don't want to pull it out of the ground and risk it. These are hybrids. They're the red, orange, and yellow little baby peppers that you get that grow on one plant. So I've got 4 of those. And when they get a little bigger, I'll put them in a bigger pot, and then I'll stick them out in the ground outside. And peppers like it hot, so it's still not too late to do those. Okay. As you can see here, this nice ugly little trench that goes from here all the way around and down is because we had so much water that was running through and underneath my greenhouse. It's washing the back corner of my greenhouse out. So I came out here while it was raining, of course, and dug that out so the water could flow. So at some point I'll put it all back, but it was crazy how much water we had. This is my compost pile. It's basically all the mulch that I took out from the garden, and whenever I have kitchen or garden waste, I throw it in there and then kind of turn it. I'm playing with the compost thing. I've never done one before, so it all seems very foreign and, to be honest, a little bit intimidating, but it is what I filled the bottom of my tubs with, so we'll see. And we'll go, let's see, we'll head that way. Kill myself in my trench that I made. My alums, I've got 2 of that kind. I've got one there, and then the one over here I told you on the left, and then there's that different kind in the middle. They're really pretty. They don't bloom until later in the year. This pear tree is, I think, about 5 years old, doing very well. I don't see any fruits on it, but that's okay because it's still pretty young. They don't typically fruit. Fruit trees take 5-7 years, something like that, maybe, depending on the different ones, and I'm not sure on pears. But I'm just surprised we got to grow, because that's the 4th tree we've put in that spot. It was so bad that on my little paper planner that I have for my garden layout, I put a circle and wrote dead zone, because every plant we planted there, every tree died. So I'm just happy it's growing. This is my butterfly bush. It's getting bigger, so it's doing a lot better. This pear tree, which is so tall, look at that. I mean, crazy. I didn't know it wasn't a dwarf when I bought it. But it's beautiful. I love it. It puts on pears. Last year I got 1, and it wasn't quite ripe, but I was bound and determined I was going to eat a pear off my tree. It was delicious. It wasn't ripe, but it was delicious. Here's my newest addition from last week, the tubs. I got the trellis put up like I was talking about doing. I've got 2 climbing roses on it. One is a lavender, one's a pinkish color. I don't know what kind they are. They were $2.50 at Walmart on sale. Don't know which one's which. I guess we'll find out. I'll be just as surprised as you. But they're doing well, especially as much rain as we got. They'll climb up that trellis, and then they'll take it over, and it'll, I'm hoping to hide the fact that these are all actual bathtubs that are in my yard. This is corn. It's gem, little gem, or glass gem, I'm sorry. It's glass gem corn by Baker Creek. Growing corn in a bed is hard because the soil's so loose it doesn't get a lot of hold. Same with these mammoth sunflowers that I've got planted here. So, excuse me, I may end up having to come out and put some stakes on the ground, in the ground outside the tubs, and run some string or something to hold them up. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But I've got my mammoth sunflowers there. This is Roselle Red. It's in the family of the okra, I do believe. The flowers are red, bright red, and you can use them to dye stuff with, clothing, that kind of thing. And then the leaves you can use for tea. Again, most all the stuff is from Baker Creek. There's my other little climbing rose bush. Here is a package of mixed summer flowers. It looks like there's some flowers in there that maybe are daisies, some sunflower family flowers. I'm not sure what they are, tall, small. But I just thought something like that would be cute, kind of a mixture in this tub. What is really neat though is I've gotten a Navajo that is a really pretty annual that's back here from Baker Creek. And then this, and this kind of look like catnip almost. That's called a toothache plant. So apparently when you eat one of the flowers, it numbs your mouth like a Novocaine or something like that. I thought it was really unique. They kind of look like fuzzy bullseyes. So I planted some. I planted 3 sets, I think, of those, and those are the only ones to ever germinate. So they don't germinate well. But to my fault, I was putting them in the soil, and I finally got them to germinate when I just laid them on top. So if you get any toothache plants, seeds, don't cover them. Just put them on the top, water them, and let them go. They'll go. My Texas early onions, they've gotten really big. I didn't think they did until I looked back on the video from the weeks before and realized that they're huge compared to when I first put them out here. So that's kind of the cool thing about doing these, is that you get to see the difference in stuff. My peony bush, it had that one flower. It rained really heavy. The flower expired, but the plant itself is doing amazing. Silver mound. For a tactile feeling, if you're one that likes to feel plants, this is one of the best ones. It comes back every year. It gets really full, and it's just beautiful. And it's one of my favorite ones. Here's my chocolate cosmos. We'll see. They're getting a little bigger. This spider web hen and chickens is starting to put on a flower. They're getting big, and they're gonna see. There's gonna be the flower right there. Pretty exciting. It's clearly very happy. My cat mint that I got going here for my kitty, because she likes to eat everything else I put out here. Okay, so these strawberries here are the what's called everbearing. So they produce over and over throughout the summer. And I think we put 10 plants in here. Was it 2 summers ago? It hasn't been that long. But anyway, they were only supposed to be from the end of that box down to the turtle, and like just a very small area, but they've obviously kind of come down. So we'll have to come in, and I've given several plants away, and I'll have to give them away again. Yes, Mom, I'm going to give you some plants. Don't worry. She wants her plants. This is Little Jim lettuce, head lettuce. It looks like it's been ran over by chickens or a tractor or something. I am the one that did it. I came in and harvested about 4 baskets full this morning. I gave 3 baskets away and then took a basket home with me in the house. But it is by far my favorite lettuce. I'm not a big fan of the gourmet blend. It's too soft. This is a romaine, but it's not, doesn't get really big and hard, and it's a perfect crunch. I really like it. Here's the Nanette, Scarlet Nanettes, carrots for canning. These are the golden Uzbeks for eating. I've had to thin a few of them out here and there. They're like a yellow-white color. Very sweet. Amazing. Very good. Not ready yet, but they're really good. This white columbine plant, I noticed it was acting really wimpy, and so I got to looking at the soil, and it's almost like half the plant was rotten. The soil was gooey. It's really gross, and I imagine it's because of a lot of the rain. But I was going to pull it out of there, try and transplant it, dig it out, get rid of the dirt, replace it with new soil, and then put it back in there, and hopefully it would live. It looks like it's doing okay, so maybe it was just a diseased part, or maybe there was a bug that got in there. I'm not real sure, because this pink one, which I planted them both at the same time in those pots, is doing fantastic. So it could just be a bug. I don't know. You know how that goes with plants. You just never really know why something dies or doesn't. My clematis, it's so pretty. And hopefully the other ones will catch up. What are you doing, Terry dog? Huh? Are you out chasing squirrels? I got that black strip there with that cement rabbit because I was trying to block some of the water that was literally rushing. You can see it's still wet right there, but you can see where it would go down straight through, straight to there and run to the garden. And it actually has cut grooves in it. So, you know, hopefully we'll get it. Hopefully the grass will start growing back and it'll help with that. These are purple dragon beans, green beans. They're getting ready to put on a flower. So the pods are actually purple as well. So there's not as many in this here as I would like. A lot of them didn't germinate, but that's okay. And there's grass. Good night. Look at all the weeds. My asparagus, I think I want to pull them all up into one and put a ponytail holder on them so they stick up in the middle, because they get in the way when I'm trying to pick strawberries and stuff. I fight more with them than anything. Look at that. Do you see that? That is my wind chime. My husband bought that for me. Absolutely love it. It is the prettiest thing. Listen. Can you hear it? Yeah, I love it. Anyway. And it's just subtle enough to where you hear it, but it's not overpowering obnoxious. Here's the other side of my strawberries. These are the June bearers. So June bearing basically meaning that they produce most of their fruit at one time. They're good for canning and making jams and stuff like that. And then over here, and then of course they've grown out of the box and then across the yard. And I mow them every week. And of course they're trying to take over here, and I have to rip them out of my strawberry beds. But then over here, it's mixed in with some everbearing too. But they're doing really well, obviously. Here's my borage. If you recall me talking about this plant last week, these are the little flowers. They'll open up and they'll be like a soft powder blue almost. And it looks like they are getting eaten by some significant buggies. I hate using pesticide stuff. I hate using powders and sprays, but it's to the point now to where I'm gonna have to, otherwise I'm not gonna have anything. My astables doing very well. This is that rose bush that I planted last week. It had that big red bloom on it. Well, it's got one more coming up here, and then it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 new buds on it. So it's beautiful. This one here has got one yellow. Yep, look at that. Beautiful. And then down here, this one's got 2 really small buds on it, one there and one there. But they're doing well as well. Lots of new growth. I checked for aphids and stuff. They did have them. A few weeks ago I sprayed, excuse me, and I haven't seen anything since, so that's a good thing. My grapes are doing very well. They smell amazing, which is so weird because there's no flower on it. But I guess these are the flowers, and you wouldn't think that they could put out so much smell, but they do. But looks very good. They're very healthy. Hopefully I'll actually get to eat some and I won't just be feeding the wildlife. My raspberry, which I've been calling it my raspberry stick, is actually doing pretty well. It's put on more foliage than I've ever seen. So it maybe actually will do something this year. I don't know. My new, for this year is my new little shade garden area. Mostly coleus. My bleeding heart that I came out and I pruned off a couple of the dead branches that just looked sickly, and I cut off quite a few, and I thought, oh boy, I probably killed it, but it actually seems to have livened it up. So I would say out of all of the coleus, I do like the hot pinks I'd say this one is probably my favorite. This deep red is just gorgeous. I think I'm gonna end up topping it too because it just gets too tall. But I'll give it a little while. And then my coral bells, I saw on YouTube, or no, it was on Facebook, a picture of somebody that had seen a huge area and they had probably 200 of these plants, and I didn't realize how many different colors they came in. Oh my gosh, just beautiful. So I'm gonna have to research that and see if I can't get some more. My Brussels sprouts, I had to put the stakes in them and secure them at the bottom because they were blowing over, but they're doing very well. The chives, told you I was gonna have to give them a haircut. I did, and they're already growing back. So if you have chives and you are afraid of cutting them, don't be, because they don't have any troubles growing back. They don't mind, and I eat them right out of the garden. Let's see. Now this borage seems to be doing very well. It's got a lot of flowers growing on it. This time I had to cut it quite back, which you can see over here where I cut quite a bit of it. It's already grown. Look at how much it's already grown. You can just cut the heck out of this stuff. It's like a weed. Same with the oregano. I had cut it back a lot, and it's already shooting up and getting big, and I'll have to cut it back again here pretty soon. Because if you don't cut them back, they'll bolt and they get bitter and stemmy, and then they're just no good. My artichoke looks pretty good. It'll get very big, so that's why I left this whole area open for it, because it's a very large plant. And they're only annuals out here because it can't tolerate our winters. But last year I did get 3 or 4 artichokes off of one of my plants. I was pretty surprised. I didn't think I'd get any. My banana peppers, which again, I think the insects are going to get more out of my garden this year than I am. There's that poor one with 2 little leaves and a stick on it. I feel so sad for it. Here's some, I sewed in some more little gem lettuce to replenish what I've been eating. I'm trying to make sure I'm replenishing it each time. It seems like I grow a bunch and then I don't have any the rest of the year. It's starting to bloom, so pretty. My butternut squash, which I thought were going to never do anything, are actually doing very well. In fact, they're trying to put on flowers. And I don't really want them to do that yet. So I'm gonna take those off. I want them to grow first before they put on any blooms, because they need to go up that trellis and hide that ugly trellis for me. These are my bell peppers here. Here are okra. Now, I've never planted okra, and I've never eaten okra, but the plant looked really interesting, and I've heard that you either love it or hate it, so I planted 6. It may be too many. They may be too close. I don't know. I guess worst case scenario, they don't do well, and I don't like them, and I give them all away. Best case scenario, I did exactly perfect what I should do, and I will eat them all and absolutely love them. Don't know. We'll see. My peas, they're putting flowers on. And the beets. Here's my Asian long beans. So they're doing very well. My kohlrabi is getting big. I don't know how long it takes for them to be done because I've never grown them. But they look good. My cucumbers, check this out. See that? Right there. Little baby cucumbers. So I'm very excited. eggplant, my zucchini. As you can see, I've already got fruits on them. These are the scallop squash. They don't have any fruits yet, but when they do start, they're gonna be loaded. Okay, my compost pile. Okay, and of course this zucchini plant has one on there as well. Check that out. So this is an onion that I had from the store that was growing in my back room, and so I took it out here and I stuck it in the ground, and lo and behold, it's growing. It's a Vandalia onion. If you need a fast, and I'm talking fast, growing plant that will cover a lot of space, then the Asian bean, long beans, are the ones you want to plant. I planted these, 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks ago, and look at how big they are. Let's see if I can get down there. Check that out. I can't believe it's growing that fast. They grow faster than lettuce. It's insane. And so I've got them on both this side. Hey, look, they're already as big as my beets. That's crazy. But they're gonna come up and they'll catch on the trellis as well with the peas, because the peas aren't gonna last that long, and I'll be ripping them out. But these beans will last a lot longer. And so then I'll be able to have them on the trellis, and then of course they'll hang down. So my Chinese lantern plant. Yep, one more bloom. It seems to only do one bloom at a time. I don't know if that's normal for the plants themselves or if it's just mine. I don't know. That's about it for this week's tour. Here's all my passion fruit that are ready to be planted. Hopefully I'm going to get them in the ground tomorrow. I got to build a fence part for it. And I need to get that parsley in the ground because it's yellow. It's looking pretty sad. And my tarragon, I had never been able to grow tarragon before, and I finally got it to grow. So I need to get it in a pot. Iris moss, those started out as 2 little sprigs, and look how big they are now. That's it. So hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to continue to manicure and groom and reap the harvests. Even if I don't eat it all myself, I still like growing it. I come out here, I sit by myself, I just let things go, which this time of what we're going through right now, it's pretty stressful for everyone, and this helps to rejuvenate me when I get frustrated with work or home or whatever, which, I mean, we're very, very fortunate. We are both still working. We're healthy, so it could be a whole lot worse. But this is me time here. So, everybody needs it. So if you don't have that, you need to find it. Get yourself a place, even if it's 5 minutes a day, find a place that you can be that gives your soul a chance to rejuvenate, because you can't believe how much of a difference it makes for you and then everybody around you, which then in turn comes back to you, so yeah, you need to find that if you don't have it. Other than that, I'd say that's about it for this tour. I got to go back in the house, and I'm not going to show you it because it's nothing like my garden. It's awful. Just gonna say it. It's dirty. I need to clean it. But it's too beautiful to be inside the house. But anyway, I just did 6 pints of strawberry jelly or jam for the first time ever. I've never made it. And so I've got 3 of the jars in the canner, and I got to go back. It's probably time now to switch it. So I got to taste it on the spoon after I got done, and it is delicious. So hopefully the pectin's set up and I did it all right. I guess if not, it's just really thick Kool-Aid. I don't know. I'll make it syrup for pancakes, I guess. I don't know. But it tastes really good and it looks really good, and it is all, yes, that was loud. And it's all from my garden. I grew it, so that makes it even more special. So I will have 6 pints. So I probably won't ever have to buy strawberry jelly or jam again. I don't know which one it is, jelly or jam. I'm not sure. I think it's more of a jam because I used my little processor thing, but they're still chunks. So I would say that that's probably jam. Yeah. Jelly jam. I'll just call it a jolly. There you go. It's both. It's strawberry stuff that you can put on whatever you want. So anyway, with that thought, I will see you next Saturday, and have a great week. Get some you time and be safe and healthy. Take care.